This video is on turning distance time graphs into speed time graphs. So I get asked this a lot. So how do you go from a distance time graph to a speed time graph? Well, I'll show you how to do it. So I'll draw a graph here. Say this is time. Let's say that's distance here. So that meters, that's seconds. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep it simple. Distance, I'll say, let's go 5, 10, 15, 20. I'll draw a line like this. So here's the first segment. Second segment, I'll try and draw this carefully as best I can. Okay, here we go. Something like this. So the first thing I would do as a student, if I was a student, I would split this graph up into segments. So this is the first segment here. I'll try and use a highlighter. Okay, second segment here. Third segment. Fourth segment. Okay, so the first thing to do is just break it up, make it simple. Okay, 15, let's suppose 15 corresponds to 2. Nothing's happening here, so I'll do that, and I'll do this. 20 corresponds to 4. Okay, I'm just matching up the distances with the times here by breaking this graph up into 4 segments. So let's do this one step at a time. So use a different color. Start off with this segment. Remember, speed is just distance divided by time. And what does that mean? It's just taking the slope. Okay, rise over run. So the rise in this case is 10. So we go speed is equal to 10 divided by, the run is just 1. So the speed is just 10 meters per second. Let's do the second one. Okay, speed is just, so what's the rise in this case? The rise is, it's the change. Remember, in this case, it doesn't start at 0. It starts at 10 and it goes to 15, as you can see here, for this segment. So we go 15 minus 10, that's the distance, divided by, I should be writing units here, being a bit sloppy, divided by, what's the change in time? Well, 2 minus 1, okay, because I'm focusing on this segment, 2 minus 1. So 15 minus 10, that's 5. 2 minus 1, that's 1, so that's 5 meters per second. This one's easy. It's not moving, okay? There's no slope, so the speed is just 0 because it's a flat line, meters per second. And what about this segment here? Well, it starts off, the distance goes from 15 to 20, so the speed is just 20 minus 15 divided by, okay, between 3 and 4 seconds, so 4 minus 3, 20 minus 15, that's 5. 4 minus 3 is 1, so it's a nice 5 meters per second. So we really have everything we need to make a speed time graph, and I'm going to show you how this is done. What you do is draw a graph like this. Let's have speed up here. We're going to use meters per second. Make sure to label your graphs here with the units. Let's call this speed time graph. Okay, now we've got these numbers. What do we do? Well, time, let's go from 0. Start with 0. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Speed, let's go up by 5. 5, 10, 15. Okay, so now what do? Well, we use the time. So the time is still the same. Okay, in this case, so times the time for the distance time graph and the time for the speed time graph, if that makes sense, it's the same, right? We're using the same time. So it's going at, let's start off with here, the first segment, 10 meters per second between 0 and 1 second. So between 0 and 1 second, it's going at 10 meters per second, okay, constant speed. So 10, I'm going to draw a line like this, 45 degrees roughly. That's the first segment. Second segment, it's going at 5 meters per second. Okay, so it drops. So, and that occurs between 1 and 2 seconds. So between 1 and 2 seconds, it's going at 5 meters per second. So the line drops down. Whoops, my bad. My apologies. No, that's not how you do it. 10 meters per second. Sorry, that's constant speed. Constant means in this case, it's a flat line. Okay, flat line between 0 and 1 second. Next segment, it's 5 meters per second. So it drops down to 5 and it stays there between 1 and 2 seconds. Between 2 and 3 seconds, it's 0. So the speed is just 0. It drops all the way down to 0 here. And it stays there. And the last segment, between 3 and 4 seconds, the speed is 5 meters per second. So it goes back up to 5 and it stays there. And that's how you do a speed time graph using a distance time graph.